Why does one who has relinquished self-love gain eternal life? How does it work?
What is eternal life? It's life of bestowal. You are in the upper light. All the other forms are lower than that, are anything less than that is changing. Those are disappearing forms. We're receiving fulfillment in the will to receive. If it's in order to receive and is not extended to others, then it disappears. It comes to only for a time and disappears. The existence of this world is a degree of the will to receive where the will to receive is allowed to hold the filling of in order to receive throughout the length of our lives, as we say. It's only in order to give a person the ability to exist and to prepare himself over the generations, over time, for eternal life, life of bestowal. But if not for that, you can't. You can't exist longer than that. And the upper light because of the similarity of form, the upper light cannot stay in the will to receive. But in our world, yes, it's a special reality. There's a certain time of latency where the upper light seemingly enters the will to receive. And it exists in it for a while.
And what remains in the person after he concludes this period of being within the body?
He comes to the world of truth. Light that comes to the will to receive exists in the will to receive only according to equivalence of form. That's it. Where do we get the concept of time? Baal Shalom writes, and this is the reality of this time. We read about it in the introduction to Panimi Ot, that the reality of time, it's imaginary. Just like the whole world. It's a false state. We are like sleeping people. We're in a state of slumber, and it appears to us in this state of fogginess. It appears to us that we are living, and we're able to maintain the pleasure inside the will to receive in order to receive. We'll talk about it at length. We can grow, we can come from that state through our choice in order to bestow. So we must create this artificial state, let's say, called this world, in which these pleasures from separation exist.
How the will to receive works in the form of a body, meaning when a person lives in this world, that's clear. He's filled and then emptied and again. He can't really fulfill himself. But what I can't understand is this inversion where he says liberation from the angel of death. What is this inversion that happens in this will to receive that allows him freedom from the angel of death?
That's the thing in its opposite. That specifically because it cannot enter the will to receive. I'm sorry. The pleasure cannot enter the will to receive directly and live in it. But by that we rise above the degree of death. We can receive the form of bestowal, and in it to hold the light of life.
How does it happen? What happens, first of all? What?
In our world, we're allowed to hold on to a small pleasure, no more than a thin light. That's a false thing. It's a spark. It's not even that, but let's say we call it the sweat of life. But we're allowed to be in that in order to prepare ourselves for coming out of this level to a higher level. What are you asking?
That is clear. But what is this other level? How does it work? How does the will act there?
It works when you acquire an intention of bestowal on top of your will to receive, and then you rise above it and you live in the intention. The desire is not important for you. What's important is the intention that you bestow. You're in it. Like you're relocating from living in your will to receive to living inside your intention. To live in the object of your bestowal. That's the difference in the existence. And when you move in that way, you're integrated in the means called group, in the Creator. And then when you're integrated in it, you move to eternal life to that extent.
Why?
Why? Because it's eternal. This bestowal is everlasting. It never ends. Nothing to disturb it, only greater and greater disturbance. Greater and greater bestowal, I'm sorry. The revelation of the Rishimo, the crop Rishimo, on top of which you can determine greater and greater bestowal. Life will be more intense. And they're not erased, they don't disappear, and you feel eternity in that, even in the smallest degree. But the level of eternity changes.
But why the will to receive that wants to fulfill itself eventually tires and dies, but the will to bestow, which wants to fulfill itself, grows and grows without pause?
Every day he has a new will to receive because it rises above it. He uses it in order to bestow. And that's why it never ends in bestowal. It never ends. You're in external vessels. You can bestow as much as you want in that. You change. You change your place of existence. Before you used to exist in yourself, and now you exist in others. And that's why you're unlimited. That's why in coming out to the others, you feel this eternal, unlimited life.
I still didn't understand exactly why. Why is it called eternality?
The vessel is unlimited, not in intensity or in time or in anything. It all depends on the extent you're able to come out of yourself.
In its quality, in its...
in everything, in quantity, in quality, in intensity, in everything. You have no restrictions because it is outside of you. You establish the limit. As much as you come out of your inner point to the circle, the more external the circle, you absorb these external vessels, external desires, and you work to fill them, and you live there, in them. What are you? Who are you? You are only that point that keeps. It's the point of covenant, as we learned today. That inner point. That's what the Creator created. There's one black point, and that's it.
You
can't create anything. When we imagine this is life and we can live in it, that's an illusion.